What's going on in today's episode of Schedule Predictions? We have the Detroit Lions. After about 30 years of total misery, we have watched Dan Campbell pull the Lions out of the fire and become one of the NFL's powerhouse franchises right in front of our eyes. Last year, they had a franchise best 15 wins, but were later eliminated in the playoff after being completely devastated by injuries late in the season. Last year, the Lions actually became the 6th consecutive team to win 15 games and not win a Super Bowl. And they were the second to not even win a game in the playoffs. This year, the schedule makers did not take it easy on the Lions. 8 of their 9 road games are against teams that were above 500, and 7 of those were playoff teams. The Lions do, however, have the biggest scheduled rest advantage, so I believe that might be able to even out their schedule a little bit, but you still don't typically like to see all of your road games against top-tier opponents. So the odds makers have Detroit winning 10.5 football games this year. I think that's largely going to depend on how this defense can sustain and come back from all those injuries they had last season. All the way up to November, this team was actually ranked as the 4th best defense in the league, but after that they plummeted to 31st after losing Aiden Hutchinson. So for the notable additions and departures from this team, I think the big blockbuster one is Ben Johnson going to Chicago. This guy completely changed the face of the franchise along with Dan Campbell. A shocker was that Frank Ragnow actually retired after only 7 seasons. He was an absolute cornerstone on that offensive line. They also lost Kevin Zeitler, and they lost Darius Smith and Carlton Davis on defense. I do, however, think the Lions made up for a lot of that in the draft. They took one of my favorite defensive linemen out of Ohio. This was Tyleik Williams. This guy is an absolute behemoth. I think he's gonna be able to shore up Detroit's run game and make that unit a whole lot scarier once Hutchinson comes back. They also drafted Tate Ratledge in the 2nd round. This guy shows a lot of promise. I believe they're gonna try to move him to that center position. The Lions are definitely hoping that this guy could step up and fill the shoes of their former All-Pro center. I also really like that Isaac Tesla pick to add onto this already stacked wide receiver roster in Detroit. So other than those 3 draft picks in free agency, they went ahead and addressed their secondary. They picked up DJ Reed and Rock Ya-Sin, the former 34th overall pick. These 2 guys aren't star-studded, but I think it's going to provide some of that depth that I was talking about. So yeah, let's go ahead and break down the schedule. But before we get into it, it would mean a whole lot to me if you guys would click the box at the bottom right of your screen and go ahead and drop a subscribe to me. Also, feel free to comment. You guys leave me y'all's predictions and thoughts. But yeah, let's get into it.
We're going to kick you in the teeth. All right. And when you punch us back, we're going to smile at you. And when you knock us down, we're going to get up, and on the way up, we're going to bite a kneecap off.
So week 1, this one's going to be tricky. You never know what's going to go down. I actually like Green Bay in this week 1 matchup. This is on the road. I think the Packers are a team that always plays really good against divisional opponents. I doubt Green Bay is going to come out of the offseason being horrible. You don't really know, however, how the Detroit Lions are going to rebound from all those injuries they sustained last year, because anything could happen in week 1, and this is on the road in Lambeau Field. Go ahead and give me Green Bay in the opening week of this schedule.
All right, and we're going to stand up, and then it's going to take 2 more shots to knock us down.
However, I do think the Lions rebound, winning against Chicago. This is a home game in Detroit. I don't need to explain this one too much. I like Detroit in Ben Johnson's return to Detroit. Go ahead and give me the Lions in week 2.
All right, and on the way up, we're going to take your other kneecap.
And this is a scary one in week 3. This is on the road in Baltimore. This is Monday Night Football. Lamar Jackson is notorious for running over NFC teams. This one's really a toss-up to me. Baltimore has an amazing secondary. I love Detroit's wide receiver core. You got AMON-RA, St. Brown, Jameson Williams, Tim Patrick. They just picked up Tesla. This one could be a thriller in Baltimore. Go ahead and give me Detroit here in week 3.
And we're going to get up, and then it's going to take 3 shots to get us down.
Week 4, this should be an absolute slaughter fest. This is in Detroit against Cleveland. Not too high on Cleveland this year. Don't know too many people that are. Go ahead and give me the Lions for their 3rd straight win in a row. And I might catch some backlash for this week 5 game. This is on the road in Cincinnati. I really like Cincinnati's offense. You can't ever sleep on Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, but I do like how this Detroit offense stacks up against their defense. This one could be a shootout depending on Detroit's defensive personnel at this point in the year. But for right now, I actually like Detroit's roster a little bit better than Cincinnati's. Go ahead and give me the Lions on the road for their 4th win in a row.
We're going to take another knockout at it before long, or they're going to be the last one standing. All right, that's going to be the mentality.
And then we have another one of those absolutely brutal road games for Detroit. This is on the road in Kansas City. We have the Lions' second primetime game of the year. This is their first Sunday night football game. I like Kansas City here just because it's at home. You got all the eyes on both of these teams. You got the NFC's best versus the AFC's best. Go ahead and give me Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs in this one. Now, I do like the Lions to rebound here in the following week at home. This is against Tampa Bay, Monday night football game. This one could be a trap game, but I do think Detroit outmatches Tampa on both offense and defense if everyone's healthy out there. Go ahead and give me Detroit here at home going into their bye week. And coming out of that bye week, we have a home game versus the Vikings. This is a divisional game. I could see a world where Minnesota comes into Detroit and shocks them, but for right now, I'm going to go ahead and give this one to the Lions as well. And I also really like how Detroit stacks up against Washington. Even this one's on the road. Go ahead and give me the Lions. Now we have what I think could be the best in-conference matchup of the NFL season. We have a road game at Philadelphia. This will actually be the Lions' 5th consecutive game against playoff teams from the 2024 season. I think if they're able to just win like 3 out of those 5, they're going to be gravy, still in prime position to win that division and make playoffs. With that being said, give me Philadelphia in this one. Now after that L, Detroit might be a little bit discouraged. They didn't have 3 losses all year last season, but I think that's all right. They're easily going to be able to rip off this one against New York. I also think they're going to go ahead and split with Green Bay this season. So I'm going to go ahead and give the home one to Detroit. And I also like Detroit on Thursday Night Football. This is a home game versus the Cowboys. They could be on upset alert here, but for right now, I do think Detroit matches up nicely against Dallas. Go ahead and give me the Lions for their 3rd straight victory in a row, coming off from that loss against the Eagles. Now this week 15 one should be good. Normally these games with Matt Stafford and Jared Goff going against their former teams are always really tight and very entertaining to watch. I see the same thing happening this year. Now, the Lions have won the past 2 matchups against the Rams, but both of those were at home. The 2021 game, the Rams did win that, but that was when Detroit was dog shit. My gut is telling me the Rams win their matchup in 2025, but who knows? For right now, I'm going to give LA the win at home against the Lions. And I think Detroit makes quick work out of Pittsburgh in their last home game of the 2025 campaign. That's going into their last 2 games. These are road ones against divisional opponents. This first one is actually a Christmas game in Minnesota. I like Detroit to sweep Minnesota this year. I'm going to go ahead and give them this one, but I do think Chicago has to get one over on the Lions. Ben Johnson just knows this team too much. He knows their offensive scheme, but you could make the same argument for the Lions knowing what Ben Johnson's going to do. Either way, I think Chicago has improved enough to sneak one out over the Lions. Go ahead and give me Chicago in the last game of the year. So yeah, this is going to wrap up the Lions schedule at 12-5 this season. I think this is perfectly realistic. I could see this team having a floor of 9 or 10 wins, and that's really depending on how healthy they can stay throughout the course of this year. But realistically, the sky's the limit with this team. This ceiling could be anywhere between 13, 14 wins. So yeah, guys, for Vegas's line of 10.5 wins, go ahead and give me the over on this one. Y'all all please do me a favor and like this video. Go ahead and leave me your comments. Tell me what y'all think. Did I predict this schedule correctly? And go ahead and subscribe. We'll see you guys in the next one. We have the Green Bay Packers.